Here's a crossover game. Texas A&M goes to Colorado. Both teams are 1-0 on the season. Texas A&M crushed Kent State, coach. Kent State. Who went to school at Kent State? That'd be you. And Colorado beat Northern Colorado 35-7. Jerk Broussard, last year's Offensive Player of the Year for Colorado in the Pac-12, had 94 yards and a touchdown. The team had 276 yards rushing against Northern Colorado. But what I was impressed with was their defense. They held Northern Colorado to 24 rushing yards on 18 attempts. Looking at Texas A&M, they won their first game against Kent State, but they were really sloppy, coach. They had 5 turnovers in that game, and I can tell you Jimbo Fisher is not happy about that, but they were still able to overcome the turnovers and win. Harris King, the quarterback, had 2 touchdowns, but he had 3 interceptions. And if you look at their offensively, they had 2 running backs that won over 100 yards, but they were led by Isaiah Spiller, returning from last year. He had a terrific yard running the football. Colorado was a 17-point underdog to Texas A&M. This is one of those games I go back and look at. Carl Durrell's done a nice job at Colorado. They went 4-2 last year, 5-2 overall since he's returned to coaching as a head coach. I like Colorado taking the 17 points. I think this game is going to be closer than most people think. I think Texas A&M is going to win the game, but I'm going to take Colorado in the points, 37-30.
I think Coach Durrell's done a tremendous job at Colorado, Mark. But in the last 13 years, only one time has Colorado won more than 5 football games. Yeah, they were very impressive against Northern Colorado, but they really weren't challenged. I think that Broussard, as you mentioned, the Player of the Year in the conference last year, is a real threat. But I think A&M is the real deal. Yes, they did beat Kent State, but Kent State's a much better team than you would think. It was close there for a half. When you look at A&M, I think Isaiah Spiller is one of the best backs in the entire country. He plays so well. The real problem was at quarterback. Yeah, they threw for 292 yards, 2 touchdowns, but they also threw for 4 interceptions. But A&M had 9 starters coming back on defense. Coach Elko, their defense coordinator, is outstanding. Yeah, Kent State averaged 5 yards per rush. But when you look at it, they had 5 sacks on defense, etc. They know how to win. They're in the SEC. They know how to play. I look for A&M to prevail in this football game, 41-17. I think A&M is one of the better football teams in the country, particularly if they eliminate the turnovers.